If you work in public health and struggle to set boundaries, especially ones that your boss or your colleagues will take seriously, then this video is for you. Today, I'm going to teach you how to set boundaries in a way that actually works. You can be successful at it without relying on other people to change or to respect your boundaries. So here's how this video is going to work. First, I'm going to teach you what boundaries are and are not. Then I'm going to shift your understanding of boundaries so you can be more effective with them. And then I'm going to give you 3 simple, easy tips you can start to implement right away to practice the skill of boundaries. Notice I said skill. I'm going to explain why I call it a skill later on in the video. Now, who am I to teach you about boundary setting? My name's Marissa McCool, also known as the Public Health Burnout Coach, and my mission in life is to help all the women in public health lose the stress and reclaim their lives. I worked in public health for well over a decade before I burnt out hard and had to learn how to get out of it. And one of the main ways I did that was becoming really good at setting boundaries. So much so that some of the senior staff actually started asking me how I was doing it, and I started teaching them. So when I tell you I understand how hard it is to set boundaries in public health, I really do. I never took my lunch. If I did, it was over my keyboard, falling into the keyboard. I always left work late. I wasn't working out because I didn't have the time to or energy to. I was checking emails late into the evening. I would take calls from my boss on the weekends. So I understand. But through what I'm going to teach you today and through practicing this skill of setting boundaries, I was able to start leaving work on time, taking my lunch every day, getting to the gym twice a week, and I stopped taking my boss's calls on the weekends. Here's what I learned the hard way that I don't want you to have to learn the hard way. Most of us are setting up boundaries in a way that make it impossible and hard on us. That's how I was doing it. And there's an easier way to set boundaries. We don't struggle with setting boundaries because we're incapable or incompetent. We struggle to set boundaries because we don't have a full understanding of what boundaries are and are not and how to go about them so they are effective. So the first thing I need you to know is that boundaries are for you and no one else. Boundaries exist for you, not for your boss, not for your colleagues, not for anyone else. A boundary is not, I need you to change. A boundary is, here's an expectation I'm setting for myself to protect my time and well-being. Where we get into trouble, and where I certainly did, was using boundaries, expecting that they would make other people change. But the truth is we cannot control other people. We cannot force them to change. And if we're setting boundaries with the expectation that my boundary is going to get them to act differently, we're always going to get frustrated. We're always going to get upset. The good news is there's an easier way. Here is the biggest boundary mistake I see, is we set boundaries up as instructions for others. We set up our boundaries as you should do this or you shouldn't do this. So the example I love to use is we try to set a boundary by saying, hey, don't email me after 5 p.m. That's setting an instruction for someone else to be different. We're telling someone else to change their behavior. That's never going to work because we don't control them. We can't force them to change. Even if we're their direct supervisor, they're still human with free will. They're going to still email us after 5 p.m. The correct way to set a boundary is not instructions for someone else, but instructions for you. I'm not going to check email after 5 p.m. I'm not going to respond to email after 5 p.m. That puts it on you, which at first can be a bit frustrating, right? We want everyone else to make it easier. They're the one bothering us. They're the one emailing us at all hours. But we can't force them to change. So when we take the responsibility on us, even if that's frustrating to begin with, it means we can actually make a difference because we can control our behavior. So when we decide not to check emails after 5 p.m., people can keep emailing us all they want. We don't read it. We don't respond to it because we're holding our own boundary. This is the key to being much more successful with setting your boundaries. There's one thing that gets in the way of setting boundaries, even with using this strategy of focusing your boundary on you. It's people pleasing. One of the main things, particularly for us as women in public health, that gets in the way of not just setting our boundaries, but sticking to it, is wanting to make sure everyone else is happy, that they feel good, that they're not upset with us, that they're not disappointed by us. And we end up avoiding setting or holding our boundary because we're avoiding the emotions that either we feel, maybe we feel guilt, or the emotions that they might feel. Maybe they're going to feel disappointed. The problem with setting boundaries is not the action. Most of you watching this video here can say no in some form, can close your laptop, can walk away. You have the capacity and the capability to do the actions required to set a boundary. What makes it difficult is the emotion that surrounds it. We feel guilty, we feel anxious, we're worried someone else is going to be disappointed or angry or upset with us. So to be successful at setting and following through on boundaries, we have to be able to navigate those emotions so they don't dictate our behavior, so they don't stop us from following through on our boundary. So let's get into the 3 tips that I recommend for setting boundaries successfully that you can start using today. Tip number 1, give yourself time before responding. One of the best pieces of advice that I got early in my career from one of my supervisors actually was to never say yes or no to a request right away. And she told this to me as a directive. As a supervisor, she said, I don't want you to ever say yes or no to a request from anyone, including me, right away. I want you to always say, I'll get back to you. I need some time to think about it. When do you need to know by? This was one of the best gifts that she ever gave to me as a supervisor, and I've taken it with me throughout my career. It gives you time. It gives you time to really think about, what do I have capacity for? What makes sense for me? It gives you time, if you want to say no or set a boundary, to really determine what that boundary is and how you're going to deliver it and what aligns with your values. So often as women, we immediately just say yes. That's our instinct because, again, we want to avoid that guilt or that shame or them being disappointed. And we have that knee-jerk reaction to respond right away. But then we often regret it later. Getting in the habit of giving yourself time before giving an answer is such an effective tool when it comes to setting boundaries. So I want you to start practicing this week when someone asks you for something, saying, let me get back to you. When do you need to know by? I'll think about it. Let me check my schedule. Tip number 2. Use what I call the 1-sentence boundary. As women, we often tend to over-explain when we are setting a boundary or saying no. We have been taught by the patriarchy and hustle culture that we have to justify our reasons for putting ourselves first or not helping someone else or not being a martyr to the cause. And so we tend to over-explain. We justify, we apologize, which actually makes us feel and look less confident. And that results in it being easier for other people to push back or to negotiate with us or talk us into something we don't really want to do. So instead, I want you to give the boundary in 1 sentence. No justification, no explanation. Be clear and be direct, and you can do this while being respectful. For example, I don't have capacity this week. I'm not able to take that on right now. Notice, 1 sentence. After you say that sentence, guess what you're going to do? Stay silent. This is the hardest part. You've probably heard this advice when it comes to negotiating your salary. If you've ever done anything in sales, right? They tell you to stay silent afterwards. Because what ends up happening, if we're not, we go into that justification and we go into the apologizing and the over-explaining. We talk ourselves out of it. Just stay silent. Sorry, I'm unable to do that this week. I'm not available for that right now. Thanks for asking. Silence. That increases the confidence, not just how you feel. Once you get used to it, at first, you're not going to feel super confident. That's okay. That's normal. It's going to be uncomfortable at first. But once you get used to it, it becomes a skill. You're going to feel more confident and you're going to appear more confident to the people you're talking to. And here's the other thing I'll tell you. As you do this, you will be surprised, maybe even shocked at how many people respond with, okay, thanks for letting me know. There's actually a lot more people who are not going to argue with you or push back. They're going to respect it. But because you gave a 1-sentence answer and you were silent and you didn't justify, you didn't apologize, you didn't over-explain. So I want you to practice that this week. If it's uncomfortable, nothing's gone wrong. Totally normal. This is a new skill you're building. Tip number 3, you can, especially in situations with maybe someone you supervise or your boss or a colleague you care about, where you really want to be in community and be a team player, or the project really matters to you, you don't want to burn bridges, right? You can offer something you are comfortable doing without sacrificing yourself. So we often sometimes think about boundaries as very black or white, all or nothing. Either we're doing it all and helping them, or withdraw and we don't care. And that's not what boundaries are. Boundaries actually exist in the middle. It doesn't mean withdrawing from your team or refusing to help out at all. It just means being able to balance out how much you're giving with how much you're giving yourself. Being in community, being a team player cannot come at the expense of your own well-being. So if there is a situation, maybe it's on a project you really care about, maybe it's in a relationship you care about with your boss or someone you supervise, where you do want to set a boundary or say no, but you still want to contribute, you still want to help out, or you still want to maintain the relationship, you can offer a small alternative that feels comfortable based on your capacity and what you're willing or interested in doing without overcommitting yourself. So here are some examples. I can't take that on right now, but I could review the final draft if that would be helpful. I can't attend that meeting, but I'll take a look at the notes after and let you know my thoughts. I'm unable to come to the retreat, but if there's any follow-up action items you need from me, please let me know. I can't lead that event, but I'm happy on the day of to help out. I don't have capacity to lead the committee right now, but I'm happy to sit on the committee depending on how much time it requires. Notice how I'm setting a boundary and I'm making sure I'm protecting my capacity, but I'm also offering other ways that I can contribute that feel doable for me. So I want you to start practicing those this week. Setting boundaries, remember, is not about changing other people. It's about changing how you show up. And it's also not about becoming isolated and not caring about the work you do or your team or your community. It's about having more of a balance between what you're giving and what you're receiving. The more you do this, the easier it gets. I know it will feel hard at first, and that's normal because this is a skill you are building. Remember I said I'd let you know why I call it a skill. As you start to think about setting boundaries as a professional skill, that is also going to help you become more efficient and effective at doing it. Because similar to running SAS code or writing a manuscript or drafting a really well-done survey, boundary setting is a professional skill. Why? Because just like those other skills, boundaries help you do your job efficiently and effectively. When you are setting boundaries consistently and sticking to them, that means you are making sure you have enough energy, you have enough capacity to do the work on your plate really well at a high level. You have enough space and time and energy to support your team or the communities. You are able to execute the responsibilities of your position really well because you've set boundaries to conserve your energy and your time. The better skilled you are at boundaries, the better skilled and successful you're going to be in your job. So if you're a woman in public health who wants more skills and tools and approaches to reducing your stress, creating work-life balance, setting boundaries, saying no, delegating, achieving your career goals, I want you to stick around, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. And tell me, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Tell me what boundary you're going to start working on setting. Or if recently you've set a boundary successfully, tell me what it was so I can celebrate with you and you can show others that this is possible, that we can be successful at setting boundaries in public health. With that, I will see you all in the next video. Bye, everyone.